Wemby continues his struggle. Is this the season that Embiid and the Sixers finally make that leap? And the Nuggets continue their domination from last season. All this and more. I'm your host, James Sires, and you're watching Sweet Sports.
I'm living my nightmare. It is a monster. It's in my...
Alright, let's get into this. First game that we're going to talk about is the Spurs at the Knicks. Now, Victor Wembanyama struggled for the second night in a row. He went 4 for 14, totaling 14 points for the Spurs, as the Knicks just cruised to victory with a final score of 126 to 105. Right? The Knicks were led by the trio of Brunson, Randall, and R.J. Barrett, totaling 72 points between all three of them. The biggest difference between these two teams was definitely the three-point shooting. Right? The Spurs shot an abysmal 26% from deep, going 9 for 34. Meanwhile, the Knicks shot a scorching hot 45% from behind the line when they went 19 for 42. Brunson himself sung 5 triples, and in a complete opposite of Jalen Brunson, Victor Wembanyama went 0 for 4 from 3. It seems teams might have been really trying to figure out how to guard Victor. It seems like these past 2 games, it's really been working, right? He should be able to figure it all out. The Spurs really just need to lock in defensively, right? And offensively. They're the worst team defensively in defensive rating at the bottom of the league. Meanwhile, the Knicks coming into this game were the second best team defensively coming in and still remain the second best defensive team. Right? The Spurs had 13 turnovers compared to the Knicks 3. And let's be honest here, when you're on the road, you're in the Garden, 13 turnovers compared to the Knicks 3 is not going to get it done. And that was the biggest difference in this game. If you look at the advanced stats, they were pretty even all throughout the stat sheet with the exception of turnovers, the biggest one, and that three-point shooting percentage. San Antonio's next game is against the 5-2 Timberwolves in San Antonio, which marks their first match for this new NBA in-season tournament, where we'll see Victor face off against his fellow countryman and defensive stalwart, right, Rudy Gobert. Will we see Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs rebound after taking 2 tough losses, or will this trend of teams finally figuring out how to lock down, right, the new French phenom, right, continue as the Spurs host the Timberwolves? Right. Next game we're getting into is probably, right, the most exciting of the night. Right, and that's going to be the Celtics at the 76ers. This is a clash between the 2 top teams of the Eastern Conference. Right, the 76ers continue their dominance and improved to 6-1 on the season. And the Celtics are handed their second loss of the season. Right, the 76ers were able to take the lead going into the break and maintained it for the rest of the game. With the largest lead going up to 15 with 3:43 remaining in the fourth. The Celtics, however, didn't stop. Right? They battled late and they pulled it close. Right? They pulled it within 4 with a minute and 1 remaining on a layup from Tatum. However, Embiid hit a turnaround jumper with 40 seconds left in the game to ice the game for the 76ers. Joel Embiid led the 76ers with 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Another solid night for the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey added in another 22 points for the 76ers. That solid 1-2 punch from Embiid and Maxey really showing what they do. Porzingis was a leading scorer for the Celtics with 29 points on 10 for 19 from the field. And this really might be the year that the 76ers finally figured out. Because Embiid is showing up like that every night and showing that he deserves an MVP. Right? It's going to be hard to pick Philadelphia against Philadelphia. Especially when Tyrese Maxey is playing like this, and so is Joel Embiid. All right. On to the third game that we have for you guys. It's the Suns at the Bulls. Moving into another tight game last night. Suns versus the Bulls. Right, as the Suns were without Devin Booker. Suns coming through in overtime with the victory. The Suns started off hot, really hot, and jumped out to a 25-8 lead early in the first. But the Bulls stuck with it and ended up notching it at 57 apiece by the break. From then, the game went back and forth the rest of the game, with neither team really being able to pull away from each other. Jusuf Nurkic committed an offensive foul with 25 seconds left in the game in order to give a chance for Tatum to tie the game. Right? Correction, for DeRozan to tie the game. Right? With 16 seconds left in the game, DeRozan ties the game and sends it to overtime. In OT, game continued to be back and forth until with 7 seconds left in the clock on a pick and roll between Kevin Durant and Jusuf Nurkic. Right? Durant passed the ball to Nurkic. He hits the layup. 7 seconds left in the game. Grayson Allen led the Suns in scoring with 26 points, and 24 of those being all from three while shooting a scorching hot 67%. The Suns dominated the glass, right, with the plus 14 edge on the rebounds. Suns start tournament play next Friday, where they're going to play host to the Los Angeles Lakers. Fourth and final game that we're going to get into will be the Warriors at the Nuggets. Finally, we get to the Nuggets hosting the Golden State Warriors, where Nikola Jokic continues to show why he's probably the best player in the NBA. I know we all like to say it's Giannis or Jokic, but let's be honest, after watching Jokic play like this and the Nuggets' dominance, it's probably Nikola Jokic, where he put up 35, 13, and 5 as the Nuggets beat the Warriors 108-105. Reggie Jackson, who's filling in for the injured Jamal Murray, put a respectable 20 points and 47% shooting, as Denver improves to the NBA's best record at 8-1. Golden State had the lead going into the fourth, but they just couldn't hold on. Right? As the Nuggets took the lead on an Aaron Gordon jump shot with 8:44 left in the game. From that point on, the Nuggets were able to just hold on to a slim margin of victory for the rest of the game and hold off Steph and the Warriors. However, with 15 seconds left in the game and Denver was up 2, scored 107-105, Nikola Jokic missed both free throws, which would have closed out the game for the Nuggets. And with 7 seconds left in the game, Steph misses a layup, rims right out, right, which would have tied the game and sent it to overtime. And Curry finished the game with his team best, 23 points, making 6 of his 13 shots from deep, showing you still why he is the best shooter in the NBA. Right. The Nuggets continue to impress and are without Jamal Murray, yet still continue to win, right, and haven't missed a beat. Right. Question we got to ask ourselves: is this Nuggets team the next NBA dynasty? I guess we have to watch, wait, find out. Now, on to tomorrow's Sweet Picks. All right, there's only 2 games on tomorrow. The Bucks are favored at the pace versus the Pacers. It's in Indiana at -165. They have the 8th ranked offense. Meanwhile, the Pacers have the number 1 ranked offense. Both defenses being ranked towards the bottom of the NBA. Right? Me personally, I would take the Pacers at +135. Right? This is with Halliburton continue to play at the all-star caliber level and it's being held in Indiana. For those reasons, I would take the Pacers in this one. Right? For the second game of the night, right, it's going to be the Magic are playing the Hawks and are a +135 underdog. Right? This game will be on a neutral site in Mexico City. This marks the first time the Atlanta Hawks have played in Mexico City. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic played the Chicago Bulls in Mexico City in 2018. The Hawks come in with the 4th ranked offense and the Magic 4th ranked defense. However, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray will be too much for the Magic defense to handle. That's why I'm taking the Hawks at -160. All right, that does it all for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm James Sires, and you've been watching Sweet Sports.
I'm living my nightmare. It is a monster. It's a